So, what do you do when you hit a problem that just feels impossible? Well, today we're going to break down a mental trap that keeps so many of us stuck, and we're going to look at a really simple shift in thinking that might just unlock the whole thing.
All right, let's just dive right in with a massive one. This question, why do we have a three-generation problem? It comes straight from the world of particle physics. It's basically asking why the fundamental building blocks of our universe seem to come in these three separate generations, each heavier than the last. It's a puzzle that has kept physicists up at night for decades. But here's the thing. When you're faced with a question that huge, our first instinct, the thing we all do, is often the very thing that gets in our way. The real problem, a lot of the time, isn't the math, it's where we start.
Yeah, when we face a question like that, something huge and complicated, our brains just kick into a predictable gear. And look, it feels like we're being productive, right? Like we're making progress. But in reality, it's often a total cognitive trap. Oh, you know the feeling. We've all been there. A project at work just grinds to a halt. A theory you're working on just doesn't add up. Or maybe a creative project just isn't working. The pressure starts to build and you get this overwhelming urge to just do something, anything, to start solving it right now. And what is that something? Well, it usually means grabbing the tools we already know how to use. We reach for the familiar, right? The tried and true methods that have worked before. We just want to start calculating, start building, start doing immediately. And this instinct, well, it actually has a name. It's called the toolbox trap. This is that exact moment when our familiar, comfy tools stop being helpful and actually start limiting how we even see the problem. We end up trying to jam the problem into the shape of our tools instead of, finding the right tools for the problem. So, okay, these things on screen might look like physics tools, but they really stand for any set of familiar methods. Think about it. For a marketer, the go-to tools might be SEO or social media ads. For a programmer, it's that favorite coding language. The pattern is exactly the same no matter what you do. We jump straight to what we already know. And that is the toolbox first approach. It's totally reactive. It's all about prioritizing action over actual understanding. And sure, it gives us that satisfying feeling of being busy, of making moves. But so often, it just leads us straight down a dead-end path, all because we never stopped to ask if we were even working on the right problem to begin with.
But what if there's a better way? What if the solution starts with something simple, something that feels almost radical when you're facing a complex problem? And that is just pausing. Seriously. Before we even think about asking how we solve it, we have to focus on the what.
And this quote, man, it just gets right to the heart of it all. We should first get a grip on what the concept is. That right there, that is the crucial shift. It's all about resisting that powerful urge to immediately start calculating and instead just committing first to simply understanding. So, this all leads us to a completely new framework for thinking. We'll call it the concept-first approach, and it's exactly what it sounds like, a deliberate strategy that puts understanding way, way before action. Okay, so the most important point here is this. Concept-first thinking is really all about deconstruction. It's about breaking a problem down to its absolute essential nature. Asking things like, what are the moving parts here? What are the fundamental principles at play? And you do all of this work before you even let yourself think about which tool you're going to pick up. Let's put these two side by side so you can really see the difference. Over on the left, you've got the toolbox first approach. This is like finding a super complex knot and just trying to smash it with a hammer. You're jumping straight to the how. But then on the right, you've got the concept first approach. This is like starting with a magnifying glass. You ask, okay, what is this thing really about? You take the time to understand the knot before you even think about how to untie it. And yeah, it might feel a little slower at the beginning, but honestly, it's the only way you're ever going to find the real key to the solution. So here it is, a practical 3-step process you can actually use. Step 1, just stop, get a real grip on the core concept. Step 2, map out all the other concepts you're going to need for a complete solution. And then step 3, and this is the key, only after you have that full conceptual map laid out, then you reach into the toolbox for the right tools for the job. All right, so what's the big takeaway here? The main thing to remember is that this whole idea, it isn't just for physicists trying to figure out the universe. Not at all. It's a universal tool for clearer thinking and, honestly, just more effective problem solving for every single one of us. That whole physics question from the beginning, that was just our way in. This is really about a fundamental principle that drives innovation and breakthroughs in literally any field. It's about how we choose to approach complexity, period. I want you to think for a second about where this applies in your world. Is your business strategy stalled out and you're just throwing more ad money at it, the familiar tool, without really stopping to understand the core concept of why customers aren't connecting in the first place? Or maybe you're stuck on a tricky engineering problem, just trying the same old approach over and over. The trap is always the same. It doesn't matter what field you're in. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Think about the biggest, thorniest challenge on your plate right now, the one that seems impossible. What do you think would happen if, instead of immediately reaching for your usual toolbox, you just stopped, took a breath, and asked yourself, what is this problem really? What impossible problem are you going to solve by taking the time to understand it first?